Greetings everyone and welcome to another problem. This time we're doing problem 58, length of the last word. This was a problem given by Facebook, well actually Meta, formerly known as Facebook. And this problem is a one that I really enjoy and really like. It is very casual and it's very light. And I think that these are the sort of problems that should be given in the interview at the first stage because they're actually fairly nice, fairly simple, and they can get your communication with the interviewer going. So let's actually read the problem and see what we're going to do. Given a string S consisting of words and spaces, return the length of the last word in the string. A word is a maximal substring consisting of non-space characters only. So let's say that we're going to be having hello world, and I'm going to be writing here on the whiteboard, hello world. And I should be returning, I'm just going to put a symbol here. I should be returning this thing over here. Now, I should be returning this one because it's the last word. And I know this by separating it with a space bar here. Now, what's interesting in this problem is if I have, let's say, this string. And by the way, I'm looking at the second one now. So fly to the moon is going to be my string of choice, and you're gonna see that I'm gonna have, let's say, 3 spaces over here, one here, 2 here, and then another 3. Now, when I think about the length of the last word, obviously, when I first see it as a human being, I just focus on the word moon, and that's why I'm just gonna be returning 4. But in reality, when I actually try to figure out this, you're going to see that I have a lot of space bars. And what you want to do first is to be sure that a space bar is not followed by a space bar. And the fact that we are just going to have real characters here and then a space bar, this means that this is going to be the last word. So I'm just going to take a count and I'm just going to be returning the integer. So it's actually a fairly simple problem. Let's code it up and see how it is going to work. Now I'm going to show you in 2 ways. So this is going to be way number 1. And let me just zoom in. This is going to be way number 1, first way. And I'm just going to be doing it and showing you the second way. Now, first I'm going to go with the second way because I believe that this is truly how you understand the problem. And then I'm going to show you how you can do it in basically 2 lines. So let's go with the second. So if you want to see the 2 lines code, then just skip ahead, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. But I would recommend you to watch the second way that I'm going to begin with, because this is an algorithm that is going to work in all of the languages. The other one is a bit more like LINQ. It's just going to be a bit of a short, finding the last index and then just incrementing it. So let's go with the second way. Now, the first thing that I want to do, since I want to be finding the length of the last word, is finding the result, and I'm going to be placing that at a 0. Then I already said that I do want to find the space bars, so this is the empty spaces, and for that I'm just going to create a space that I'm going to make char, and I'm going to be placing 32 here. Now I'm going to be placing this because this is in ASCII how I do represent the space bar. Then I'm just going to say boo word started. This is going to be when did I start to actually calculate the real word. Because as I said, these space bars over here are not considered part of the real word that I'm searching for. All right, so let's actually go and iterate through the characters. And I'm going to do from back to begin. So from the end to beginning, because I am searching for the last word. There's no way that I'm going to be starting from the beginning because it's just going to be not optimal. So in order to do that, I'm just going to say index is going to be as length -1. Then I'm just going to say index is bigger or equal 0. And I'm going to say index minus. So that is going to give me, and if I can type here, that is going to give me, I'm going to be starting from D here, D-O-R-O-W. All right, that's simple. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check if S index is actually equal to a space and word started. Now, if that is the case, I'm just going to be returning result, because if I have already started with a word and I am meeting the first spacebar, I don't care how much of other space bars I have. So for example, I'm just going to say, and this is a very bad tone. Let's go with the red. So let's just say that I'm going to be having hello world. And as soon as I know that word is started, so here word is started, as soon as I find the first space, right, I'm just going to be returning the count over here. So I'm just going to be returning, what is this, 5, right? I don't care if I have many space bars over here, because, you know, they're not part of my word. Control Alt D to remove the drawing. And now, of course, we need to figure a way to actually say if the word is started. So let's just say else. So else if s of index is not equal to space. So here we're having the space char. So let me just type it down here. ASCII. If we're not having it, I'm just going to say word started is going to be equal to true. And of course, I'm going to say result plus plus, because I'm going to be incrementing it. So let's actually walk through it once again. I am going to use fly on me, fly me to the moon, fly on me. So fly me, and I'm just going to go 2 because I don't have any space. And let's say that I have space bars over here. So at the first time, I'm going to come here and I will be having a space, but the word is not started. So then I'm just going to move here. I'm going to have a space, but the word is not started. It's still going to be false. All right. Then I'm going to move here. The word is still false. Then I'm not going to be having space. So that is going to give me a result of 1, since I have 1 char, and the word is actually started. Then I'm going to move to T. This is going to give me a result of 2, and the word is started. It's just going to be true. Then I'm going to move here and I'm going to see a space bar. Now, s of index is space, and this, let me just go with green here because I think it's going to be nice. S index is going to be equal to space, and this is going to be in a circle. Good. And the word is started. Good. So I'm just going to be returning result. I'm going to be returning the number 2. And that's pretty much it. So that is a problem. Now I'm going to then go out of the for, and I'm just going to say return result. And of course, run the code as usual before I begin the other way that I was talking about. So let's just submit this. Just be sure that it works. And I'm just going to show you the other way. All right, good. We know that this is working. So I'm now going to delete this. Okay, doing the first way is going to be requiring a bit more C# specifics. So that's why I wouldn't start with it, because it's just specific to C#. You can do sort of things in JavaScript, but in every other language really, but it's just going to be a bit language specific. So let's say that I'm still going to be having fly to the moon, and let me write it with green now, just so we are a bit different. So let's say that I have fly, 2 space bars, then what was it? Me, 2, and then D, fly me 2D. Yeah, let's go with that. Now, the first thing that I want to do is actually trim. I want to trim the message, meaning that I'm going to remove every excess space here that I do not really need. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to find the last index of the spacebar, and I'm actually going to begin with the next character in my string. So here I'm going to be finding the THE, and I'm going to be starting here at T. And from the length of the whole string, I'm going to remove this part. So let's say that this is going to be index 16, and the length of the string is going to be 19. And when I remove 19 from 16 from 19, I am going to end up with 3, which is going to be the exact amount of characters in my word. So let's actually see this in code. The first thing that I need to do is actually to trim. So I'm just going to say string. Actually, I'm just going to go with var s. I do want to save it somewhere, but be more specific. Okay, let's go with, I want to be a bit more specific here. So let's say string message. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to say the message is going to be trimmed, right? So message is going to be equal to message.trim. Then I want to find the space index. And to be more particular, I want to find the last space index. So this is going to be last space index. It's going to be equal to message.last index of what? Of the space. All right. So now I do have the space, but once I said 1 minute ago, I said that I want the first character, not the actual space bar. I want the first character after the space bar. So that is why I'm just going to be placing +1 over here. And the final thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to be returning message.length minus last space index. So that's pretty much it. Now, of course, this is going to work, but if I have to write it a bit more to make it a bit more clear, what I can do is I can take this and I can say last space index, and then I can just create var last character after space index. This is a bit confusing, but it's going to be equal to last space index +1. And here, of course, I do want to say message length minus the last character after space index. So that's what I'm doing, really. I'm just finding this. So let me just go with red now because it's important. So I'm just going to be, let's say, TO, and then I'm going to have TOT. So TO tot. Now I'm going to trim, and I'm going to get, after trimming, I'm going to get TO, 1 space, TOT. And now I'm going to be finding the indexes. So let's actually write them down. I'm going to go with green here. And I'm going to write the indexes down. So this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, of course. And now what I'm going to do is interesting. So I'm going to be searching for 2. And I'm going to say last char after space index is going to be 3. And from the whole length, from 6, I'm going to remove this 3 over here. So 6 minus 3, and I'm going to be left with 3 characters. Our last string, right? Our last string is made from 3 characters, and that's what I'm going to be returning. So that's why this is actually working. All right. Well, that was pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Bye.